So, what I think defines a story as a tale of our time is that it touches our heart, something in our soul, so you feel really emotionally connected to it, and it does make you question your own humanity or humanity in general. It makes you think.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tales of Our Times. This is a show where we discuss stories that move us, what makes them so meaningful, and why others should find meaning in them as well. We'll tackle movies, books, comics, and more. Where there's a story, there's a reason to read. I'll be your host, Amanda Stevens. A little bit about me. Originally, I was from Seattle, Washington in the USA, and I grew up with a family that read together, but I would say more importantly than that, a family that critiqued stories together. So we would talk about them. And eventually that extended to movies, comics, TV shows, even things like fairy tales. It's my belief that any kind of story is best enjoyed alongside other people, which is just what we'll be doing here on this show. So thank you for joining me today. We'll be discussing narratives that move us, wherever they may be, as well as why others would or should find value in them. This is not a spoiler-free show, by the way, so bear that in mind as you continue listening. We'll try to give you some warnings for when those things come up if you're interested in reading or watching what we're talking about today, but just kind of proceed with caution if it is something you don't want to be spoiled on. I'm not doing this alone, though, so here in my first ever episode is my friend and today's guest, Michelle Chiang.
Hi, everybody.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Michelle, and you guys have probably heard my voice before. I'm on Radio Taiwan International's Geek Out, and I do co-host with the other FM online, people.
Yeah.
So they my jam.
I love that. So what story have you brought for us today?
I love this book. It has made a mark on me since I read it.
Well, we'll have some time to discuss how you felt when you first read it. But so, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there like me who this is maybe their first time hearing about it. So would you mind giving us a summary about what happens in the book?
Sure.
It's called Watchers.
Watchers by Dean Koontz.
Great.
It is about the main character. His name is Travis. He's a man who is a veteran, and he went through a lot. He's got a lot of baggage. And the book opens on Travis, who is driving out to a canyon, very deserted, isolated place, in order to commit suicide.
Oh my God.
He's brought a gun, and that was his mission. So that's how the book opens. I'm sorry if obviously
sounds like a really
triggers.
cold open.
It's a very cold open. And while he's down there, he's hiking, he's walking, looking for a place. He encounters two things. One is something really weirdly dark, and it touches your inner animal instinct of scary. It is fearful. And he also encounters a dog. A golden retriever specifically, who pops out onto the trail and prevents him from proceeding down into the shadows.
Oh my God, this sounds like something that would make me cry.
Right. So at first, Travis thinks this is a normal dog. It's actually really not. The dog starts behaving in ways that are oddly intelligent, and eventually convinces Travis to get back in his truck and drive back to civilization.
Oh, okay.
So that's how the story opens.
All right.
Spoiler alerts. So Travis, as he gets to know this dog, realizes that this dog has actually human or surpasses human intelligence. And the reason for this is because it's a laboratory animal. Travis does some digging, and he finds out that this is a science experiment of people who are trying to design a dog who could infiltrate, enemy, whoever. Imagine sending an intelligent dog to Russia.
Right. So this is like a bioweapon, basically.
Exactly. And on the flip side, what the creators also made was the perfect soldier.
That's a scary thing.
The scary thing.
Okay.
Because obviously soldiers have to be strong, fast, intelligent, and also strike more like a mortal fear in their enemy.
Right. It's good for a soldier to be scared.
Exactly.
The perfect soldier.
Terrifying. Right. So whereas the scientists made every effort to make a dog look like a dog, they didn't for the monster. So that's in the very end, the dog saves, spoiler, the man from certain death, and the creature dies.
Okay.
But it's my favorite book because obviously it's a dog story. I cry a lot, even at like commercials about animals. It just really, they kill me.
You know, I'm the same kind of person. I once cried at an infomercial or something like that that was telling me how strong a dog's bite force was. So it's not something anyone should ever cry about, but it did get me. So this does sound like I was already sold on the fact that it was a dog story. Mm-hmm. That's something that definitely gets to me. So I guess the next question that I have for you is how did you first get this book? Like, what was your first encounter with it? Was it reading on the beach?
Exactly, to read on the beach. It was a vacation book. So I picked up some entertainment at the airport. And I'm like, oh, there's a picture of a dog on the cover. So that is literally the reason why I got the book.
I actually feel like that's a red flag for me.
Oh, no, really?
Well, because if I see there's a dog on the cover, I feel like the likelihood of me crying
while on the beach.
Right. Especially during that like story, it like skyrockets. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was hooked. It's like, okay, so it's about a dog, but it's not just, like a Marley and Me sob story. Oh, don't even get me started on that. Oh, can't.
That's another day.
But it's science fiction, right? Mm-hmm. So, and the subject was very interesting. So I picked it up and then I went on vacation and proceeded to finish it on the flight.
Oh my God. You didn't even make it to the beach.
I didn't make it to the beach. There was a lot of crying.
Okay.
There was definitely a lot of crying. My boyfriend at the time was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Checking in.
You just start sobbing next to him about the book.
Absolutely.
I just need to finish and find out what happens next.
But yeah, the reason why I think I brought this book to today is because it does really, first of all, the bond between humankind and dog kind is really, I mean, being a dog mom myself is really, it's really special. Mm-hmm. It's unquestionably strong. So, and really deep. You feel like they are, I mean, if you are a dog parent or cat parent also, you feel like that you connect with them on a very deep level.
So is that what touched you most about this book, was the bond that I didn't even ask, does the dog have a name?
Einstein.
He
does actually only have a serial number.
Oh, okay.
Until Travis gave him the name Einstein.
The main character gives him the name. Yes. So Travis and Einstein are the main characters of this book. So was that the selling point for you for this book? Was their relationship that they build over
the smart dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, selling point was
the smart dog. The smart dog selling point.
Because if you can imagine, it's not human intelligence. It's dog intelligence, but amplified so that they are very, very smart. It would be very different than human intelligence. For example, if the dog, there was a scene where obviously the dog is filthy after being found in a canyon and having running around a lot of wilderness. So Travis was trying to give this dog a bath. Mm-hmm. And the dog would repeatedly turn the faucet off.
Oh, because he doesn't want a bath. Oh my gosh.
So yes, he doesn't want a bath. But then after, Travis, at this point, he's just discovering how smart this dog is. Offers him, like a good meal after the bath and stuff. Dog goes and turns the faucet back on.
So he bargains with the dog.
Exactly.
It's a thing we all wish that we could truly do with our pets when we have to do something bad, is like that promise of like, hey,
food.
If you just let me clip your nails now or give you a bath, I'll give you a treat later. But just give me like 5 minutes of peace at this moment.
Right.
And it works.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. And later on they do devise a way of communicating.
Oh,
so
I love this.
Yes. So Travis eventually meets a woman who is a good teacher.
Oh.
So she teaches this dog how to read and write.
Oh no.
In English. And,
sorry, I say oh no because like this is something that like immediately would get to my heart.
Yes. So the way that the dog communicates, they do like illustrate, not illustrate, but write it out in the book. They're very selfless. He's mostly concerned about the feelings of the people.
The dog?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what you get for making a golden. That's
a golden
another
retriever.
Question that I have is like, if you were to make like a super soldier, I feel like it would be better to pick another dog instead of a golden retriever, not because they're not adorable, but like exactly for that.
They would bond,
right,
with whoever they're hanging out with.
But wouldn't you want something like a German Shepherd that like also bonds really deeply? So I remember, but also has more of like
a sense of loyalty.
I don't know that I want to say loyalty. I don't want to rag on golden retrievers that badly.
No, they're derpy.
But like my friend, well, exactly. My friend used to train guide dogs, and I remember the golden retrievers never made it.
Never made it.
Because they're the sweetest things. They're sweet as sugar cubes, but they kind of have
derpy.
that same intelligence level. Someone's going to come for me, I know, after saying that. But they're just so sweet. I feel like
They're the embodiment of a hug.
right.
Yeah, if you made a hug a thing, then I think they would look like a golden retriever.
I feel like I guess that was the selling point too from the author,
Yeah.
David Koontz, right?
Dean Koontz.
Dean
Yeah,
Koontz.
Dean Koontz.
Oh, no.
He himself
I'm sorry,
had he himself had golden retrievers.
And so that's where it comes
Of
from.
course.
Yeah.
So,
So you want like the perfect smart dog. Everyone always thinks that their dog is like the special example, right? So maybe that was a little bit of it as well.
But yeah, golden retrievers also, I think the reason why they would be a good choice if you were to actually do this is that they're very disarming. So you can't be mad at you can't be suspicious or angry at a golden retriever. It doesn't happen.
Did that play any part in the book? Like people looking at this
Yes.
cute dog and
Absolutely.
being like, wow, you're so sweet.
This
Nothing
dog could
will
get
ever
anything he
happen."
wants, basically.
Oh boy. This dog is going to rule the world.
Of course.
Vote dog for president.
Whether or not there was an epilogue with possible genes being passed on, I will not reveal. Yeah. The dark nature of this book, though, is actually Amanda knows me. Possible, I'm a cynic,
Yes.
and the dark nature of this book is actually what actually hooked me in and kept me reading. Is that I think this could actually happen. Someone could try to create the perfect soldier, and it would be this horrible, horrible beast.
So this is referring to the second character.
Yes.
And I looked it up briefly, and I believe that the character's name was something like the Stranger, right? That was the super soldier, perfect beast, which also wasn't human.
Yeah.
Right. It was another kind of lab experiment.
It was a combination of many animals to make
Yeah.
it as hideous as possible.
Oh, that poor thing.
Yeah, and because it was it's intelligent.
Yeah.
It developed. It understood that it was scary and nobody loved it. So a part of the plot arc was that this creature did for a while not try to track the dog and kill it because it hated the dog for being loved. But it tried for a while on the outskirts of humanity to build its own like cave dwelling and home and try to actually be human.
This reminds me, have you ever read this story, like the original Frankenstein?
Yes, of course.
So would you say, for those of you who haven't read it, Frankenstein's monster actually does something similar where it's really horribly ugly, but he's super intelligent and he recognizes that. And a couple of times he tries to, remedy that in himself by being kind to people. But instead he's just judged by by how hideous he is.
Yes.
And how horrific.
It's
and
exactly
it doesn't
the
work.
same thing. Or not exactly, but it does.
It rhymes.
It wrenches. It hurts. Because I think all of us can identify with at some point not being liked, at least.
So I'm going to take us back kind of and redirect it because I could talk about literary comparisons all day. But since this is Tales of Our Time, if we could give this book a little like award stamp on the front that said this is a tale of our time, why do you think it deserves that kind of honor? This is the first podcast, but we assume it's an honor, right?
I think mostly because this is a story that can appeal to everyone. Everyone can identify with something in this book. So it is, I think, very personable. It touches us on a personal level, but then also makes us question humanity.
Right. Like you said, something you find to be really compelling about these kind of stories.
Correct.
And so this is the English teacher in me, but the final question that I'll ask you is if you could give this book a 1-sentence subtitle. So
Watchers by Dean Koontz.
I don't know why I keep saying David.
That's cool.
Dean Koontz, Watchers.
I would say dog story exploring the good and evil of humanity.
That's going to be it for us today. Thank you everyone for joining us on our first ever episode, our first ever show.
It's the first show.
Yeah, especially thank you, Michelle,
Of course.
for joining me. This has been Tales of Our Time. I'm your host, Amanda Stevens, with my guest, Michelle Chiang.
Hello.
I hope you enjoyed learning about Watchers, dog story exploring the good and evil of humanity, a tale of our time. Tune in next week to hear us talk about something else. Thanks.
Bye.